Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mechanical Anime Reviews podcast, a podcast that is attached to my blog, Mechanical Anime Reviews, and I'm Scott, who runs it. And today is the first episode, and I think it would be a good thing to explain where my love for Mecha came from. Yeah, and typically everyone would say Toonami, and that is correct because I watched Toonami as an elementary school kid. I watched everything, including Gundam Wing, Big O, the original Gundam and such, but it was something like the original Gundam which attracted me to Mecha in the first place, and since it randomly disappeared off the air on my end, it just encouraged me to search it out a little bit and everything. I mean, seriously, back in high school, years after it stopped airing, I still named my Gundam DS Gun Tank for some reason because Gun Tank. I don't think you need an explanation other than that, really. Um, but that's not where the story ends, really. I really wasn't that too deep into anime directly after elementary school. I dropped away from Toonami for a number of years, and it was only until Bleach or something kind of because that was our big high school anime came in, came to my focus, and I started getting back into it again with a lot of different shonen action series and everything. And that's generally how it goes, but that changed a little bit into college where um, Battlestar Galactica became a thing for my friend group, and I just searched more and more different science fiction series. So I was basically, I was that crazy kid that instead of going through Shonen Jump or Shonen Battle franchises, I went to science fiction ones. So I watched a lot of the older Space Battleship Motto. I watched the older Electrical Galactic Heroes. Well, it wasn't older back then, it was the only one. I watched all of Gundam. I watched a lot of Macross. So I was that kid. But that's generally how it went because I didn't have a lot of people that were interested in Mecha, so I only watched the basic ones like Eureka 7, Code Geass, and things like that. And that's generally how my life went for a while until I started finding more and more things to watch. And honestly, I'm still discovering a lot of more things to watch on. Like, the way that my life has gone, I feel like my anime life could be me walking around a cave with a flashlight and some lights that I set up as I discovered more and more things, and there's always more and more things that come out. Like, one series I finished recently was Gal Gaigar, and I didn't even know about the Frame series that existed until 2020 when I joined a lot of different good Discord groups like grants and things. It just had that experience, and I'm constantly learning more and more about Mecha franchise and what I need to watch next in order to get the next step. And it is what it is. That's just the experience that I've had, and I will not take away from that at all. I've just been enjoying it a lot, and I hope to continue to watch more and more because I just have a passion and energy for it. It's just a lot of fun. And talking about that a little bit, I kind of get a little disappointed when people think about mecha in the mainstream in general. Like, what is the main face of mecha anime? It's usually Gundam, things that Gainax put out, like Ava and TTGL or Gurren Lagann, and usually not that much because I remember so many, or one anime auction where you had this armed slave from Full Metal Panic, and people would say, "Hey, this is a Gundam," as they were trying to sell it off to people. It's just like, really, guys? I wish you would at least look into a little more history, but I can't. I guess I can't really demand that to people. Like, there is a lot of attachment parts. I mean, you look at the Gundam franchise alone; it's kind of huge. There's a lot of multi-part and fast alternate universes and a lot of different things, and a lot of people don't really know about that for some reason. So they only think about, well, it's all Gundam, right? All these 30 plus shows and movies and OVAs and things, they're all Gundam. And, like, that's true. But there's different ways to enter into it. And I'm hoping to really help with that a little bit in the future, because it's not really that complicated as people would, like, think it is. It's not this amalgamation of stuff. There's, like, a lot of clear lines where people can start off and look at and start their navigation into it until they get to deeper level of hell, like me and a lot of other people that probably are listening to this right now. It's just that kind of craziness. And there's a lot of good reasons to get into Mecha too. It's not just like the cool factor of having giant humanoid robots fighting and punching with all their special abilities and other things, or flying through space. There's an added side bonus to it too. There's a lot of heart and soul and characters that you can get attached to so easily that you didn't realize it at first until either gone or the show ends. And it is that kind of thing that can get to you. And you could say that for a lot of things, like Shonen Battle series have that kind of energy too, but there is something special about a person piloting a robot that really just adds to the experience that goes beyond explanation that I don't think a lot of mecha fans could say to people. There is just power and passion. And that passion goes a lot to the writing and a lot of the mechanical design in the mecha themselves. I mean, let's think about like Gurren Lagann. There's a lot of fire and passion in how the mecha changes just as Simon does over time, and as he gains more and more friends, as his time, his power gains stronger through his friendship and through his will to help his friends. It is that kind of thing that can get you attached to mecha series. I just wanted to say that Gurren Lagann is not the only series that has that kind of flow, that passion, that energy. There's an entire genre of super robot shows which have that feeling. You can do the same things. Just Gurren Lagann is biggest standout for a lot of reasons, because like it is a good place to enter it, to know what the expectations of a super robot show are. But there is a lot of other series, like I think before that, before Gurren Lagann even appeared, there was Die Buster, and that was made by a lot of the same crew behind Gurren Lagann, because it's another Gainax thing, and it's 6 episodes of the same kind of energy. And there's even more, like there's Mazinger, there's the new Shin Mazinger, which I think should be a good introduction to a lot of people into the Mazinger franchise. And there's just Getter Robo, there's Gao Gaigar, or the Brave series, which I'm still dive into myself. There's G Gundam, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to name all of them because I think that's kind of impossible to do like on the fly. And if you're not interested in that kind of thing, there's still the real robot genre, which is a little more real, even though it does push the limits of what can be real a little too far. But it usually has like unit numbers and specifications, ammo limits, units that have to be repaired all the time or taken care of after combat. And there's a lot of cool series. Like, it's not just the original Gundam that came out that defined it. There's also Armor Trooper Votoms, which has the pretty breakable unit that you see all the time because it's just a Mook unit. You know, one of those units that just has faceless, like Stormtrooper. Think of like Stormtrooper. And there's also Pat Labor, which focuses on a lot more reality of police having to use their own robots to fight against the rampaging laborers, or, well, their construction units, which are giant robots in that future, in that 1999 time period where people just had giant robots to work instead of normal equipment. And of course, like, there is a gray line between the two. Like, there's plenty of super robot shows that have mechanical failures and have to rely on a lot of fixing and updating and, well, just general maintenance in order for the units to work. And it was that kind of thing that behind it was the gray thing zone. It kind of provides a lot of interesting series to think about. And if you wonder where my favorites between the two are, I am a real robot kind of person. I like things a lot more logistics because I think seeing like the mecha which defy logic somehow being put to a realistic universe and somehow incorporated in a real way is kind of intriguing and see if the creators can pull off that kind of trick. But I think super robots are a lot of fun too. I think the passion and the energy and the drive in those kind of series are like undeniably powerful, and they just addicting, and you just have to love it somehow. Not having to choose between the two is kind of why I love mechas, because it's a lot more diverse than people think it is. As I mentioned, people just think about the giant robots. They don't think about what goes into the mecha series to make it so phenomenal and unique and powerful and full of prestige. Yeah, I realize that it's not as prestige as it used to be, but I think there's a lot of things in storytelling and a lot of things that a creator can still do with Giant Robot, despite the kind of landscape that we are in now in anime with the seasonals and everything. And I think I will get into that later, but for now, like, let's just simmer down and this is an intro, by the way. I mean, no need to get into anything deeper now. I will have some more plans later on. Right now, I want to discuss some series that I've been watching recently. Not all of them because I'm saving them for a special event, but there's a few that won't appear for a little while. The first one, Macross 7, is, well, the first Macross series that I've watched in a while, and it's definitely a far different series. Focus on a lot of rock stars and certain Basara who flies out in space using his guitar to pilot a Valkyrie unit and somehow gets people to stop fighting with his musical talent, just like a lot of the Cross series. I'm only 3 episodes into it right now, so I don't know too much about what's going on, but I know that there's alien force that absorbs life force. There's the Max and Milia from the original series who are the captain of the military and the mayor of Macross 7, and they're divorced, so they have like this massive argument going on, and there's his daughter joining Basra's band, and just being a little too uptight for them at the moment because she's raised like with these elite people, and it's very interesting to watch right now. It's just a lot of like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm really enjoying it, and I want to keep on going with what's next. A little melodramatic, but what isn't dramatic about rock stars? I mean, they are the pinnacle of what is melodramatic. With all the 3 episodes I watched so far, like, I kind of recommend watching it, but it is like the G Gundam of the Macross franchise, and it's so different, but I really enjoy that fact because it's so refreshing. And there's a lot of other series Macross that are just Macross-like. They can get into if you don't enjoy it, like Macross Plus. But Macross 7 is pretty special so far. The second and last one that I will talk about is Zabungo, which I started watching recently, so I've watched only 1 episode so far, but that's pretty fun too. It's very much Tomino's land with the way he writes his characters and the way they speak and everything, but it's very self-aware, very fun. It knows exactly where it's going, even if we don't at the moment, but has small directional moments that put us in the inside of the characters. Like Jiren is the guy that people are following in the desert to steal a robot, but we see flashes of his motivation when his parents were killed. So obviously, like, what he's doing is guided by his parents and their death. So he wants revenge or something. And there's a lot of moments that kind of are like that, or the Tomino self-explanation, like, this is what we're doing, why we're doing it kind of thing. Because Tomino doesn't know how normal humans speak, which is charming in some ways, but could be off-putting for some others. That's just the way it is, I think. So that's what it is. That's what we know so far. Like, there's people following a guy in the desert, a dumb guy who wants to steal a robot. There's a land of people working around the bazaar who sell giant robots, and there's an elitist that is building the Zmungal units because there's not just one, there's a bunch of them, and I really enjoy it so far. Um, the Blu-ray release I have is standard definition, and I like a lot of the faults to it. Like, I like seeing the film grain, I like seeing like the shaky frames and a lot of other things. I like seeing a lot of the imperfections in like older anime because these were created in a time where they were doing a lot more than you would think in a rush schedule with cells and hand painting, and it must have been a lot of work. So seeing that passion up front, even if it's imperfect, is really cool. It always is. That's always been one major appeals of older anime to me. With that talk of my two shows, thank you for listening to Mechanical Anime Reviews podcast. I'm Scott, run the blog Mechanical Anime Reviews at mechanicalanimereviews.com or Mech Anime Review on Twitter. See you guys around for the next one, next month probably. I'm not sure. Either way, we should have a good time with this. Goodbye.